Hey guys, Xlice here. 4.0 is upon us, and with a new region comes a new path and a new gimmick. Please welcome Aha and the Path of Elation. To start us off, our first playable Elation character is a comfortable Harmony-style character who focuses on buffing your team's damage, the beautiful Yao Guang. In this video, I'll explain everything you need to know about what Yao Guang does, how to play, how to build, how to team, how to Yao Guang. Disclaimer that all things filmed are on Creator Experience Server and subject to change before release, so keep that in mind. So, let's get into it. Now, the easiest way to describe what she does is to show you how she plays. But there's also some new Elation mechanics to cover because they're related to what she does. Don't worry, it's pretty simple. You'll notice immediately upon entering combat that there are a few mask icons on the screen. One near your skill points, one on the action bar, and one near each character tooltip if they follow the path of Elation. The action bar shows you when the Elation mechanic will happen. It's called the Aha instant, and it's basically free damage that only Elation specific characters participate in. Each Elation character has a special Elation skill that they will use during this event, which is separate from their usual skill, talent, ult, and technique. It'll be really obvious on their trace page. When this Aha instant happens, all Elation characters will use their special skill in a predetermined order based on this character ID. Every Elation character has it, and the lower their number means earlier skill usage. So for example, Yao Guang is 116 and Sparxie is 144. So Yao Guang will always use hers before Sparxie's. After this event happens, the masks on your character tooltips will be updated with a higher number, and the masks near your skill points will be reset. The masks on your characters are called certified bangers, and they buff each of your Elation characters. They last for 2 turns by default, they can stack, and have independent durations. When it comes to dealing damage, all the numbers are just added together. Bigger number, higher damage. Each Elation character deals its normal damage and also what's called Elation damage. Easy comparison is that Elation damage is just like lunar damage from Genshin. It does not scale with damage bonus. Instead, with Elation, which is a new stat, crit, and EM. Main stat like attack, defense, HP does not directly buff Elation damage, only when some characters are able to convert it to the Elation stat. In HSR, these numbers, which are called punchline, are the equivalent of what we refer to as EM or Elemental Mastery. The punchline numbers on your characters will be different than the one on the action bar skill points. Think of the ones on the action bar or skill points as special event EM. The special event gets stronger, the higher the number. The character-specific ones only affect their own damage. So, here's a summary or a TLDR. The action bar and the skill point mask are the same thing. They just added the skill point one to make the punchline number a bit more obvious. When the action bar happens, it procs an Aha instant, which is free damage. To increase the number, which is called punchlines, you use abilities from Elation characters. Bigger number, more damage. After it happens, the certified banger punchline number increases, which means your Elation characters deal more damage with their specific Elation damage. So, the punchline number by your skill points affects the damage of the Aha instant. The punchline number on each character affects their specific Elation damage. Got it? Great. Now for Yao Guang. So she's got a pretty simple kit for the first buffer of the region to allow you to get used to these new mechanics. Skill deploys a zone that lasts for 3 turns. Increase the elation of all allies by 20% of Yao Guang's elation. When Yao Guang herself uses basic or skill, gain 3 punchline. And yes, elation is a new stat that affects base elation damage. No, it is not something that you get from Relics, at least for now. You'll get it from special trace conversions for each character, and honestly, it's a stat that just exists that you don't really need to worry about. Ignorance is bliss at times. Technique is a passive ability, and like usual, gives you a free skill usage at the beginning of battle. She will gain the energy for using this free skill, helping her first ult ramp up a little faster. Her ult does 2 things. It first gives 5 punchline to your current amount, and then increases all-type rest pen for allies by 20% for 3 turns. Then it activates a special extra Aha instant. This one uses a fixed 20 punchline, so it won't use or reset your current counter, but still gains the full value from Elation skills and updates certified bangers accordingly. Yes, you can stack this back to back with the actual Aha instant in your action bar if you want. And that's basically it for her active abilities. So playstyle wise, use her skill whenever it needs resetting, basic attack whenever you need SP, and ult whenever you want to increase certified banger amounts to buff your Elation characters. Her basic attack generates 30 energy instead of 20, making her an SP positive support with no energy drawbacks. Then we have her talent and her actual special Elation skill. So for the talent, when Yao Guang is buffed by certified banger, she adds coordinated Elation damage when your ally uses an attack. If that ally consumed SP on that specific attack, she deals an extra instance of damage. The coordination Elation damage that happens uses the higher elation stat of either the ally or Yao Guang, just to make sure you're always getting the highest damage output. Then we have the special Elation skill. This has an ID of 116, inflicts a 3-turn debuff on all enemies that increases their damage taken by 16%, then deals AoE physical elation damage and 5 instances of single target elation damage to 1 random enemy. So yeah, overall Yao Guang is a comfortable elation support. The skill is going to provide a team-wide elation buff. The elation skill provides enemy increased damage taken. Ult is a controllable AHA instant. Basic generates extra SP, and talent adds coordinated elation damage. Now for extra passive benefits. A2 Trace describes her elation conversion. 120 speed, which is the first threshold, gives her 30% elation. Every 1 speed above that gives 1% more elation until 200%. So theoretical max elation value is 230%, capped at 320 speed. A4 Trace gives herself 60% crit damage and +1 SP whenever she uses her elation skill. A6 Trace makes the certified banger buff she receives have 3 turns instead of 2. This means long term, her certified banger punchline number will be higher than your teammates, because she can stack an extra turn's worth. Trace nodes are giving 18.7 crit rate, which is kind of insane, 9 speed, and 10% elation. And Trace priority goes ult, elation and normal skill, talent, and then basic. Basic is the only thing that you don't really need. Now let's take a look at her light cones. So new path means new specific light cones, so there really isn't much to go around. Her signature provides 18% speed, 10% crit rate, 30% crit damage to all allies through a 3-turn buff, 12% ERR for herself, and 15 fixed energy per wave. Comparatively, her alternatives include 4-star Shroomies Adventures, which provides 12% elation and 6% elation damage taken for enemies, or the 3-star Sneering, which provides 16% self-elation during the AHA instant. When we take a look at her signature, it is quite stat heavy. 18% speed for herself, 50% CV for all allies, and 12% ER for herself along with the fixed energy. The main gain that you'll feel from this is the energy gain for a quick first ult ramp to gain certified banger bonuses right away. So if that's not particularly important to you, then it's not pressing to pick this up. The 10% crit rate does make it easier to cap crit stats on your characters, but I expect this to be a pretty common thing down the line, so no rush. Now running through relics. New region, new relics to farm. We're starting off with a 4-piece diviner set that provides a total of 6% speed, 18% self crit rate, and 10% elation for all allies. While you're farming for a complete set of this, just run a simple 2-piece speed set for maximum total speed, or 4-piece hacker space for ally speed. For planners, we don't really have a new supportive elation set, so we're sticking with classic options until we get one. There's not really an ideal 2-piece set, so we're using anything with ER to benefit her ult uptime. Our go-tos are going to be 2-piece Von Whack for action order priority, and 2-piece Lushaka to benefit any attack scalers. Sparxie does scale off attack for her elation damage, so run Lushaka if you plan to grab her as well. For our main stats, we're running a standard crit, speed, HPR defense, and ERR spread. Body prioritize crit rate until you reach 100% in combat, then go crit damage. Boots is always speed, rope is always ER, and orb will be defense or HP for sustain. Now on the topic of her orb, the only meaningful damage Yao Guang will deal is elation damage, so none of her main stats matter. Her base physical damage also doesn't really matter, only crit, elation stat, and punchlines. When you got a full build, this is what you can approximately expect. I have the higher range of stats, so keep that in mind. We have 160 plus speed, we have 72% crit rate before Sig LC and 4-piece set, as much crit damage as possible, decent tankiness, and maximum ERR. If you don't plan on picking up the light cone, aim for 82% crit rate on the stat page. Most likely you will require a crit rate body. The new 4-piece set will provide 18% crit rate when she's above 160 speed, so use this to your advantage. It does not show up on the stat page. Alright, now a quick gloss over Eidolons for those interested. Feel free to skip forward if you just want to see her in action. E1. Elation damage from all teammates, gain 20% ignore defense, and the fixed punchline from her ultimate increases from 20 to 40. Overall, this is just universal elation damage increase for the whole team, with the ignore defense being the most notable benefit long term. E2. While her skills zone is active, allies gain 12% speed and 16% elation. I would consider this mostly useful for meeting speed thresholds. Speed also does benefit AHA instance on the action bar, but just like character speed, it is also threshold based to gain cycle value. E3 and E5 are those usual trace levels. E4. The elation skills used during her ult's AHA instant receive a 1.5x final damage increase. This already does a fairly strong amount of chip damage and only gets better the more elation characters you have on the team. E6. Merry Make, this is a new thing here, is HSR's new term for final damage, similar to Elevation in Genshin. So here we have a 1.25 or 25% final damage increase for all ally elation damage, and Yao Guang's specific elation skill now deals double damage. So overall, her Eidolons continue to focus on universal team buffs, in this case maximizing total Elation damage. For those interested in long-term Elation path investment, I expect Yao Guang's vertical investment to provide pretty good general bonuses for the team, regardless of your main DPS choice. Stopping points to consider are going to be E1 and E6. Alright, now let's see how she performs in combat. With 4.0 release and the new mechanics, Elation team comps are going to need some time to ramp up. Once Sparxie comes out in second half, we'll have the staple Elation comp. Sparxie, Yao Guang, Sparkle, and DHPT. Sparkle and DHPT are going to be our staple choices for massive skill point generation from Sparkle, alongside her nice Nova Flare buffs, and DHPT is our staple free attack buffing sustain. Until we get Sparxie, we can use our free Archer from the Fate collab and a comfortable new team. Both Archer and Sparxie are attack scalers and heavy skill point users, so their team comps will be identical. All 5 stars shown here are E0S1, with DHPT being free, Archer being free, Sparkle available to pick up for free, and Yao Guang as the main showcase highlight. If you don't have signature light cones, reduce the performance of what you see by about 20%. So first up is the Archer comp. Since Sparxie is not technically out yet, we won't be able to run premium team on day 1. So I'd first like to demonstrate how this new team style feels with the team comp that's available when 4.0 launches. So first we're going to lead with techniques. And upon entering battle, both DHPT and Yao Guang use their technique granted skills, and Sparkle starts us off with 6 SP. From here, our goal is to set up for Archer and make sure we have as many skill points as possible for him to go crazy. You'll notice oftentimes on this team we will be capped out on skill points, and this is okay. Unless we absolutely need to refresh our skill usage on DHP or Yao Guang, they are basic attacking most of the time. We prioritize skill points on Sparkle to boost Archer, only for the first turn really, and for Archer to spam skill points. With SigLC, Yao Guang is able to lead pretty early on with her ult, so we get that first aha instant as soon as possible. When it's Sparkle's turn, her new buffs allow her to ult without fear of overcapping skill points. You'll notice on her tooltip right now, there is a number 6 on one of her buffs. That 6 is the number of overflow skill points and will be refunded to you after a character uses skill points and their turn ends. So now we push up Archer and send 4 skills on the enemy. Notice here that right after Archer's turn finishes, Sparkle's overflow SP procs, and she adds the 6 from her previous ult back into her SP pool. After this, we get our first natural aha instant with 53 punchline. The only Elation skill we have is Yao Guang's, so it's just going to deal some chip damage. When we get to the showcase with Sparxie, these aha instants are going to be a lot more potent, with her Elation skill added to the mix. Fast forward a bit here and we clear wave 1 with 0 cycles. Now for wave 2, we've got one of the new enemies, Sparxie official. Main gimmick here is she pulls one character onto a separate battlefield, which must be cleared before significant damage is dealt to the main boss. For clearing this separate battlefield, you're rewarded with a hefty amount of skill points and a free aha instant. For the combat here, we're basically just doing the same stuff. Priming skill points for Archer to go crazy, while only refreshing skills on other characters as necessary. A nice thing about buffed Sparkle is that her skill becomes 0 cost if the character buffed uses 3 or more skill points during that action. Pretty nice long term for guaranteeing you can continuously spam it. And even if you don't, her buff lasts for 2 turns instead of 1, so the only benefit from repeatedly using her skill is the action advance. Now that being said, a 0 cost 50% action advance is still free, so always use it when you can. Alright, so you see here that he just won the showdown, gets free skill points, and now sends some extra skills. And there's the free aha instant that you get from winning the showdown. Now we're fast forwarding a bit. Let's go to the final section before the first cycle ends. So with the right sequence of events, Archer is able to clear the showdown, gain the extra skill points, and full nuke the boss with just enough of residual damage to spare. So our natural aha instant. Then we're able to bump up Archer. We're gonna full send here. Sparkle gets us +6 skill points in her buff form. We have 1 SP remaining afterwards. And now our goal is to clear all these enemies. 1 skill, 1 ult, and another skill. So, just as this ends, remember that no matter how many skill points Archer has, he is limited to at max 5 skills per turn. Between the showdown and this main fight, they all count as 1 turn. So we have to rely on just 3 skills remaining for this last part. 1, 2, and 3. So this is his cap. Even though we have 3 extra skill points, he reached his limit. So now we have the aha instant. We get Archer's passive, and we have DHPT's ult for another passive for a win. Alright, now for Sparxie. So same team comp, but a lot more craziness. In terms of playstyle, the comp is pretty identical. Generate max skill points from Yao Guang and DHPT, and continuously skill bump with Sparkle. During aha instant, Sparxie now joins the fun and has a good chunk of extra AoE damage. So here's our first aha instant provided for free by Yao Guang's ult. Her Elation skill into Sparxie's. A good 1 mil chunk. Alright, Sparkle Bump with ulti here. So when it's Sparxie's turn, she has a bit of Thunder to kit, which I'll just let explain itself. So that was a 14 skill point enhanced basic attack. It's a lot of skill points for a lot of damage. But yeah, our first natural aha instant here with 71 punchline will deal a staggering 3 million total damage. Welcome to Elation, guys. Alright, now for wave 2. Same stuff, just enjoy the show. So, as you guys are watching this, the nuance in her kit lies with how many skill points you want to use during her turn, because sometimes too much is overkill. Now, there's no way of specifically telling how much damage you're actually doing with the ability, so it's kind of just a limit testing kind of thing. And now that this is the case, by the way, you're also starting to see the craziness of the new aha instant Elation gimmick, especially with these Elation skills happening over and over again. It's a lot of stuff on the screen, but I find it kind of fun. Also, with this boss mechanic, Sparxie has a pretty healthy amount of skill points every single turn that she has, and we do a lot of damage each time it happens, so we're able to cruise through these boss phases. So I think a little bit here. I mean, I'm like, 10 skill points, is that enough? And then I'm like, well, just full send it, man. It's really too difficult to tell how much damage you're doing with each of these. And she has a little bit of RNG built in. Sometimes she gets a little bit extra skill points when using her skill. So like, it's just gamba, man. It's just gamba. Alright, so the gimmick is happening here. We're gonna fast forward just a little bit here. Alright, so there's a lot going on here, but this should be a sequence of events that happens where we go crazy. So Yao Guang's gonna basic here. Gonna get her ultimate for a free aha instant, which is gonna proc both her and Sparxie's Elation skills. So it's gonna deal a good chunk of damage. So there's 1.2 mil. This also means that Sparxie finishes her showdown. And then DHPT ults. And then we get another aha instant from winning the showdown. And this, again, 2 Elation skills back to back. So we're going crazy. That's another 2 million damage. And then Sparkle's gonna bump up Sparxie And then she actually does her turn here. And we're just gonna full send here because the cycle's about to end. Excuse me, all my boys. But yeah, 18 skill points, by the way, if you're looking at that. It's just RNG. There it is. Welcome to Elation, guys. Welcome. All right, so what do you think? Thoughts overall? New region, new mechanics. Upon entering 4.0, we will only have Yao Guang. This makes it a bit difficult to immediately enjoy the new stuff for what you just saw, especially considering both new characters are needed to kind of start ramping up the damage. For those concerned about long-term investment, I think it's safe to hold off until we have a better idea of what Elation comps look like. Yao Guang is starting off as a universal buffer, and in my opinion, more worth to pick up than Sparxie currently. But down the line, future characters will better determine investment priority. If you're a collector like me, this new mechanic is pretty fun, and it's a new theme compared to Remembrance lineup from Memphorius and other archetypes like DOT and Break. So, let me know in the comments what you think. And don't forget to like and subscribe for future releases and a gacha summon videos. If I do end up making an E0 to E6 Yao Guang showcase, that will be released on my second channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.